Because the subject isn't very nice, I am not going to monetize this video on YouTube. So if you see an advert coming up on YouTube on this video, it won't me, mate. I didn't do it. The other channels I'm on, Rumble, BitChute and Minds, I have no control over their advertising policy, so sorry about that. I'm Granniopteryx. Okay, so I came across a quote. Somebody quoted it. It might have been Konstantin Kissin, but I don't know for sure. And he quoted from a book called Life and Fate by a Russian, Soviet Russian author called Vasily Grossman. Anti-Semitism is always a means rather than an end. It is a measure of the contradictions yet to be resolved. It is a mirror for the failings of individuals, social structures and state systems. Tell me what you accuse the Jews of, and I'll tell you what you're guilty of. And yeah, this is a book I probably should have read a while ago. It's been around since the 60s and I had never heard of it. But this particular quote here, tell me what you accuse the Jews of and I'll tell you what you're guilty of, seems to be particularly pertinent here. According to the Telegraph, a couple of days ago, as I'm making this video, Hamas was going to dig up war graves of British veterans, planned to exhume remains of soldiers and hold them prisoner. Hostage is the word, because in Gaza taking hostages is a way of life, and it says it's detailed in a 7-page document shared with the Telegraph by Israeli officials. So if you don't believe Israelis, you might not believe this one. I would advise you to just go somewhere else. And they say it was uncovered by the IDF on January the 31st at a compound in Khan Yunis, linked to Hamas leaders Yahya Sinwar and Mohammed Daif. Well, to my mind, that's very credible, because I don't think there's any bottom to the depths of depravity that are not being plumbed by Yahya Sinwar. Demands, so the Israelis believe it was written on or around October the 5th, 2022 by an unknown official, apparently in response to comments made by the then Prime Minister Liz Truss on her desire to move the British embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So yeah, that's what's been going on. You move your embassy to Jerusalem and we move your bodies to an unknown destination until you move your embassy back. That's the idea. But this is linked to a story that the Gazans are putting out, that the Israelis are digging up Gaza cemeteries, and apparently they are. The Euro-Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor said it had documented Israeli forces confiscating dozens of dead bodies from the Al-Shifa and Indonesian hospitals in northern Gaza, alongside others in the south. This is Press TV, remember, that's the Iranian organ. It says Israel waged the genocidal war on the Gaza Strip on October the 7th after Hamas carried out a historic operation against the occupying entity. Okay, so you get the idea. What the Israelis were doing was taking bodies from cemeteries and hospitals who have been recently buried because they wanted to find out if any of them were their hostages. Remember, the Israelis have a policy of rescuing hostages, dead or alive. However, not content, I'm quite sure they're not being too scrupulous about cemeteries either, by the way, when there's a war going on. So I'm not saying that they're absolutely 100% clean on this. However, the fact that they are deliberately digging up bodies Well, why might they be doing that? Well, according to the New Arab, and this is just beyond imagination. It is the Gaza government, by the way. So they're the people who said the Al-Shifa hospital had been bombed by Israel. And they actually had medical personnel saying they saw the planes. And it turned out it was a misfired rocket by Islamic Jihad, which had fallen into the car park of the hospital. So it's so difficult to come up with any sort of truth from Gaza sources, really. Anyway, apparently the graves have been taken to an unknown location. I don't think they mean the graves, I think they mean the bodies, raising suspicions that organs could be stolen from them, the statement said. So this is what the Gaza government was saying, that Israelis were digging up graves and taking the bodies away and stealing organs from them. When you hear about people, organ donors who've recently died and they've just died and the doctors are busily harvesting the organs and then putting them very carefully into boxes, freezer boxes, and then couriers on motorcycles are standing by to take these organs really quickly to the next hospital, or even putting them in aeroplanes and flying them all over the place really quickly under controlled circumstances. All of that's a waste of money. Apparently all you have to do is go to a cemetery where the bodies have been dead for, a couple of weeks or 3 or whatever, and then you just pull the organs out of them, and then you can sort of bounce them all the way back to the car and then drive them somewhere to use later on in a live body. Well, that's what these guys are saying, the New Arab, and a human rights group on Euronews says the same thing. Israel's army has been accused of stealing organs from the dead in Gaza by an NGO which calls for an independent internal investigation. Euromed Human Rights Monitor said on Sunday it had concerns about possible organ theft from Palestinian corpses, following reports by medical professionals in Gaza, of course, who examined some bodies after they were released by Israel. So, recently dead bodies, but not straight away, just recently dead, had been apparently confiscated by the Israelis, and they've been stealing their organs. Yeah, tell me what you accuse the Jews of. I'll tell you what you're guilty of. Well, they may not have started the idea of stealing the organs from these 80 or 100 or 120-year-old British corpses, but they certainly kicked around the idea of using the bodies for political gain. Right, well, I thought you might be interested in that. Till next time. You can help my channel by clicking like, by subscribing, and by clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing, if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels are in the description, but the best way you can help me is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.